And the ones with the cutouts go in the center, as you can see. And what we did was we got a 1x2 piece of oak, and then you'll have to cut about a 3-degree angle onto it so it matches the ribs. Because the ribs has a taper down right here. They taper down, so in order to keep the line continuous, we cut it right here to keep that slope going. So when we put our 1/8-inch ply on top, it'll contour and give you a nice flat surface to work with. We went ahead and used 2.5-inch grabber screws, wood screws, and we reamed it right here so the screws will set in nice and flush. And it's 2.5 inches, so it'll go in 2.5. Please pre-drill so you don't split the oak and split this oak as well. The sides here are 90.5 inches long on both ends. The distance between the front rib and the middle rib, you're looking at 23.5 on the passenger side. I'm sorry, it's 23 on the driver's side. I'm sorry, it's 23.25 on the passenger side, and the driver's side from the second rib to the first rib, you're looking at 23 inches. Between the front rib to the second rib on the driver's side, you're looking at 46 inches. On the passenger side, it's 46 3/8. And then the back rib, just bring it all the way to the edge and screw them in. Once you've glued and screwed the framing together, you buy a 4x8 1/8 inch, if you can find it, 1/8 inch ply, and you lay it on top, and you screw in the corners all the way down. Screw in the corners, and over in that corner is the edge of the frame. You leave the driver's side open, and then all you do is router out the two edges, which is down the driver's side and all the way down, and router it out. So now you'll have a nice square piece for your frame. And then you screw then you take the ceiling off, which is the ply. Remove the plywood, and then I usually glue headliner material to it on the underside. And this is what the underside looks like. You can see the frame. This is what the underside looks like. And then we're gonna glue headliner to this side of the board, and then re-screw it down, and your ceiling is complete. This is it. It's routed out, and what's left is a nice clean 1/8 inch all the way around, nice 1/8 inch board all the way around the frame. But now we're putting screw holes in so we can it'll be easy to line it up later on. Then we'll remove the screws, remove the 1/8 inch ply, glue in the headliner, and then screw it back onto the frame. What we've done is we've drawn a line on the inside of the board so that we know where these middle ribs are, because we're going to pre-drill holes. Because once we remove the ceiling, we don't know where the middle ribs are. So we just outlined the middle ribs. We just drew the line from the inside and out and along the inner frame, so that when we remove the ceiling, we'll know exactly where these ribs are, and we'll pre-drill holes. And then when we glue the headliner, we flip it over, we'll have already pre-made holes, and we know exactly where to screw the 1/8 inch to the frame. This is the front of the base, and of course that's the rear of the base. As you can see, the mold has a ridge right here, or a bump for the ribs. Now you've got a fake rib right about here on the roof of the vehicle. We have to cut this section out so that it'll go around that fake rib. From the corner up here to right around the inner is 22 inches. From the corner here to right about here on the inside, you're looking at 27 and a half inches. So as long as you're a little bit, you can go 19 inches to 28 inches if you want, just as long as it has enough space to go around the rib. The rib's going to sit right in between here. You'll be fine, and you're going to, basically cock around it. The next thing is the axles. Now we measure the axle from the front here to 17 inches, and this is where you're going to bolt in your axle. You got to make sure that both sides are exactly the same on this side and on the driver's side, on the passenger side. If they're not exactly in line, the arms are not going to be straight, and the top's going to go up crooked. So you got to make sure you're 17 inches from this outer lip here, from right here, all the way to here. The headliner onto the wood. So you can see this is where we drew the lines, and this is where the rib is sitting. And we pre-drilled it so that when we flip it over, we can find where the rib is. He's going to go ahead and start gluing it up, gluing up the headliner. And we're going to stick it right onto the board. Now we got the headliner all glued to the underside of the ceiling, and that's how it looks. And on the back side, it's the 1/8 inch ply is all screwed in. See the screws there, all the way down the ribs. Then your ceiling is complete. Now we're prepping the base to put so that we can get ready, so that we can start screwing in the canvas all the way around. Here's the base. As I was telling you earlier, 17 inches from here to it's right about here, 17 inches, and we're going to start putting in the stud plates, what we call the stud plates, so that we can screw in the arms. On the back side, right on the back side, we're going to put a piece of wood from about here to here, so when we screw in the plate, it's going to go through the plate and into the wood, so that it anchors it nice and solid. And we're using 1x2s to put on the back side. You want to do it on the stud plates, and right back here, right around here, which I'll show you later, is where the track is. And we're going to put 1x2 in the back of that as well. And there's going to be 2 in the rear, one on this side and a stud plate on the other side. And then on the passenger side, you're going to have a stud plate, and you're going to have another piece of wood there for the track. And this is ready to be, once we get that done, then we're ready for the canvas. I just screwed in. Right here you can see the 2 screws, a block of wood in the back. That mark that you see, going to line it up right to the middle of the stud that's coming out. That's exactly 17 inches. And then I just screw it in, and it should go right into the wood. Same thing with the other side. On the rear, this is the driver's side. It's 3 inches from here to the center stud, which will be here. I'm going to place another block of wood here, and then put the stud plate. The center of the stud is right here, exactly 3 inches. I'm going to put the other stud plate here. Don't worry about where to position the track. That'll come later when you put the arms in. Then you'll figure out exactly where the track is going to be. Once you put on the front stud plates, go ahead and put in the arm. The side arm. The side arms are longer than the rear arms. And basically how we know where the track is, we just at the end of the arm, just measure out a couple of inches, because you don't want the roller to go all the way to the end, like an inch from the end of the track. It looks like about 2 inches. Then you mark the fiberglass, and then screw in your wood on the back. Then screw in the track, and then you're all set. And now it's just bolting it together. And you do it this way to all 3 sides. And this is what you're going to need for the stud plate. You're going to need a thick washer and 2 smaller washers. Basically, how this works is you put a washer in first, like so. This big washer goes through first, and then you put in the arm. Basically, this pushes the arm out so it's even with the track. And then these smaller washers fit right in and go into the big washer, as you can see, so that the arm is actually resting on the small washers, so that you don't mess up the stud that's sticking out. To put on the canvas, basically what we did was we got the stitch line is your center of your canvas. Measure from end to end, find the center point, and just screw it in. Then you work your way around, and you put a screw on this end, a screw on the other, run the canvas down, put a screw again on the corners to hold the canvas in place, and you're ready to start assembling it and putting it all together. And you do this on both sides. Now for the rear track, we start off with putting the track on the driver's side, and we did the same measurement thing where we put the arm in, a couple of inches in from the screw of the track, cut a board or a 1x2 that's longer than the track, about a couple inches on either end, screwed it on the back side, and so when you screw in the track, your screw is going to go through the fiberglass and into the wood, and then you're all set. And then I'll start filming on how we're going to put the whole thing together. Now what we're doing is on the ceiling, we've drilled a hole. This is the second rib. We put in our light, and we've drilled a hole here so that the wiring will go through. Then we're just going to screw in the light right on the ceiling right now. And there's your light. 4 screws and your light's in. Now we're ready to put the ceiling onto the canvas and the base. Also want to put a hole on the driver's side, right in the, this will be the driver's side, right in the corner here, so that the wiring will come through. We're going to drill another hole right there, right in the corner, so that the wiring will go through, so that you can hook it up to the wiring of the Vanagon. Now, how do you know which side why we say the driver's side? If you'll notice on the canvas in the front, you'll see an extra piece of canvas that the wiring is going to fit through to hide all the wiring, and that's the side you know that's the front driver's side where the wiring is going to go through. This is the extra canvas right here on the side where the wiring is going to fit right through. There'll be a hole that's going to fit the wiring through. It's going to come through, and we drilled also another hole on the corner, and I put a little plastic cap right there. The wiring is going to come right through and in, and then go right through the roof, and then you're just going to hook it right up. Now we're screwing in the canvas to the ceiling. This is the rear. Find your center point, screw it, there's the stitching, screw in the center, and just wrap the canvas all the way around, and then just put 4 screws, one on each corner, just to hold it for now. And then we'll do the other screws here in the track a little bit later. But